Welcome to Chamber Talk. I've got an exciting show for you today. I want to welcome Mr. Guy Cochran. Guy, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you've been a little bit busy.
Well, we have been, Heath. I appreciate the invite. It's exciting. We're building our first store in quite some time, and it's the biggest project we've ever done. So that's also exciting and nerve-wracking and all the things that go with it, But it's been fun. It's it's gone relatively smooth so far. So
it looks like things are coming together out there. So before we get to that, Guy, let's back up just a minute because I don't know the answer to some questions that I would like to know, and I'm sure maybe there are some other folks that see all the Friendly Gus stations. And give me a quick how you, not quick, but just let me know really kind of how you guys got started, your territory, and kind of just where you guys are today before we get into your new store that you're about to open.
Well, our family's been in the wholesale food distribution business for over 100 years, and my granddad and his brothers started it, actually, that I'm named after. Guy went, and then he, shortly after they started it, he and a couple of his brothers went to World War I. So his dad, my great-granddad, B.F. Cochran, ran it with Mr. Milo Smith. It was Cochran Smith for a brief period of time.
One store? One location?
It was just it was a feed and seed wholesale place, and that lasted a few years, and then they kind of went in different directions, and Smith Wholesale operated until just a few years ago, and they renamed it Cash Wholesale. But in our family, when my great-granddad's sons came back, they actually still operated as Cochran Brothers, but it was a little different setup. And then eventually, Guy and Carl, and Carl's daughter Betty Rose is my dad's first cousin. I call her Aunt Betty Rose. She's my cousin, but her dad and my granddad ran the business for 30, 40 years until after World War II. And then sometime in the late 50s, my dad, Ben Cochran, came back and started running the business and realized that his customers were disappearing, and that was kind of at the time when the small town merchants started being overtaken by the Piggly Wigglies of the world, and then the convenience store industry had not even surfaced, back in the day. And Heath, you're so young, you don't remember this.
No, I'm 50. I know some of it. So.
Once upon a time, you could not pump your gas. You had to have it pumped for you.
Right.
So when that law changed in the late 60s, early 70s, the convenience store, it was fresh open markets and things like that, but the convenience stores with gas became a new, retail format. And we were a little late getting into that, but my brother-in-law, Gus Ladson, he and I grew up together, and we were buddies before he met my sister. And I realized after a while he was coming over to my house not to see me, but to see my sister. So he and Lee ended up getting married, and he went through Georgia Southern very quickly, and then was working with them, working with Winn-Dixie while he was at school and after he got through with school, and then he and my dad came up with this idea of Friendly Gus. We would talk. I had gone through Furman on a military scholarship, so I was serving our country over at. I joined the military to see the world, Heath, and they sent me to Fort Benning, Georgia.
How about
Columbus.
That? You got to see a lot.
So the home of the infantry, and I was a personnel officer.
Wow.
I went into the military with the idea of what would translate somewhat into the private sector, and it was good. It was a good training, so it's kind of like a HR type position. But we would talk, and after they proved that this mousetrap would work, I joined them in '83, and so we were a little late getting to the party. And
so in '83, location still one location?
Well, no, in '83 we had 3 or 4 locations.
Okay, were you doing food and everything at that point?
And I got to give Gus credit. He saw an opportunity to down in Mount Vernon, Georgia, was our first store. And there was not any hot food in Mount Vernon, Georgia. I mean, you got to think back 20, 30 years ago, people didn't eat out.
No,
I mean, you cooked. And so fried chicken, potato logs, that was lunch was our big meal. Today, breakfast is our big meal. But in any event, that's kind of how the concept evolved, and I joined Gus and my dad in '83, and in '87 we doubled in size, and at that point I got involved with retail with Gus. That was where the growth of the company was, and it was a lot more demanding, a lot more, time consuming as far, dealing with 7-day a week, 18-hour day. We didn't have any 24-hour stores at that point. But and we have to give credit to the late Dole Dominy and Kay Dominy. They created some opportunities for us back when they were growing their old distributorship, and we still lease some stores from now. It's kind of funny. Jet Food Stores bought Dominy Oil, so I actually lease stores from my good friends, the Jet Boys.
Right.
So through the '80s, we kind of got established, you could say.
Okay.
And then we have, gone through the normal growth pains and, just deals that family businesses go through, and trying to just decide which direction you're gonna go and what you're gonna focus on and that kind of thing.
Okay. Hey, I want to take a quick commercial break.
Sure.
And then when we come back, I want to continue this story. I have a few more questions I want to ask you about the growth, and then we're going to lead up to the exciting, me, conversation, not necessarily announcement. I know it's already been announced, but about the latest Friendly Gus that'll be coming to Dublin and Lawrence County.
Good
so we'll
deal.
take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Have you been thinking about buying or selling a home, but you don't really know where to start? Well, my name is Dwayna Cooper, and I work for Coldwell Banker Curry Residential, and I could make your real estate transaction easy, pain-free, and even a little bit of fun. When you use a real estate agent in your transaction, you have someone that works for you, someone that's in your corner, someone that can help you negotiate, get through all the pages of that contract, as well as make sure that the transaction runs smoothly from start to finish. I'm honest and candid, and I pride myself on being friendly and approachable. Earlier this year, I was fortunate enough to sell this home on Orchard Lake Road, but I also sell investment property and commercial property. So if you have a need, please reach out to me. We'll get the job done and have a little fun. I'm Dwayna Cooper, and I work for Coldwell Banker Curry Residential.
Portions of this program are brought to you by Fairview Park Hospital, a leader in healthcare for Dublin, Lawrence, and surrounding communities, providing specialty services through facilities such as our Sleep Center, Heart Center, and Women's Imaging Center.
Welcome back to the show, and Guy, thank you so much again. I know you're busy. You guys got a lot of things going on. Thank you for taking some time to come, and I really appreciate you sharing your story and your family story today. I've already learned a lot, and if you would, I kind of want to pick right back up where we left off. So we're into the late '80s now, and you guys are expanding into approximately how many markets or stores?
Well, like I said, people think that we're homegrown, but we started in Mount Vernon, Georgia. In the late '80s, we picked up a second store in Mount Vernon. And you think about Mount Vernon, you go, why would you want two stores there? Well, somebody had, and I'm struggling with the gentleman's name, but built a store right on Bruton Parker's campus. And he copied us. He put in fried chicken and whatnot, but he was an absentee owner. He actually worked for Delta Airlines, but he grew up down in that neck of the woods. And 3 or 4 years after he did it, he realized he needed to be there, so he sold it to us. So we added 2 or 3 stores in the Lawrence County market. So at that point in time, we were Lawrence County and Montgomery County.
Okay.
And then in the late '80s, early '90s, we got a chance to expand a little bit outside of Lawrence County. And actually, this is crazy because he was not a Dublinite at the time. We ended up buying 2 stores from Phil Best, our mayor, in Wilkes County.
Wow.
And Phil and I were friends before we ever moved to Dublin, and a lot of good, funny memories back through the day. But Phil had 2 stores in Wilkes County and 2 stores in Johnson County at that time, and he wanted to consolidate. So we bought 2 stores from Phil in Wilkes County, and then from there went into Baldwin County, and at one time had 3 stores in Baldwin County. We have 1 store there now, and in that late '90s we got over into Bibb, and that's kind of we went through some consolidation, and We actually went over to Houston County, right? I'll never forget this. We had a grand opening 2 weeks before 9/11.
Oh, wow.
And after 9/11, they shut down Watson Boulevard, and I mean, it just put several restaurants and convenience stores out of business. I mean, they shut the base down.
Right.
And I understand why, but we didn't know how long. We said, how long is this going to continue? They'd say, we don't know.
It's finished.
Till it's finished, till we figure out how to secure everything. So we were real excited about that store. We had a grand opening in August, like I say, 2 weeks prior to 9/11, and about spring of the next year, we said we got to find a way out of this situation, and we sold our. We actually were leasing that store, and we sold all the, our investment and got out of it. But and I guess from that point forward, we've been in 2003. We built the what we call our travel center truck stop out on 19 and 16, and it was the biggest investment to date that we had made, and it came out of the ground pretty good, and we were feeling pretty froggy like everybody was in 04 and 05.
Right.
And then 07 and 08 hit, and we were at 18 stores, and we got rid of 5 over the course of 2 or 3 years. And I always remember, Heath, during that time, I'll just never forget, Starbucks closed 650 stores. That's just hard to comprehend, isn't it? But that they saved their company, but it was a tough time for everybody in retail. And then from the end of 2008, 9, and 10 till today, till to just in this last year, we had been remodeling and refurbishing all of our core stores that we held on to, and so it's exciting to get out and do a new one, ground up, and so.
And where are you guys right now, corporate wise, as far as number of stores and maybe employees?
This will be our this will be Friendly Ghost number 24, but it will be store number 14 currently. So that tells you how we've, over the years, retail. One thing about it is, you can rest assured nothing stays the same. I'll never forget reading about Quick Trip, Chester Cadeau. If you have ever been around Atlanta, and everybody knows Quick Trip, the average age of their stores at one point in time was 7 years old.
Wow.
So, they started in 1957. The reason I remember that is I was born in 57. That was when they started. They're one of the premier convenience store companies in the nation, but their average age was 7. Because they just realized, they would close a store, move 2 blocks down, and build another one, because you just, demographics change, traffic patterns change.
And so you mentioned going to the gas station, convenience store, whatever phrase you would want to use today, looks nothing like, I remember what you were saying, it was called a service station.
Right.
And you went and you sat, and the guy came and put your gas in, he checked your air pressure in your tires, he cleaned your windshield, and it was a service station. Today, you go inside to a mini supermarket almost, and you use credit cards at the gas pump, and things look different. So you guys have had to evolve and change with those times. I think I heard you having the conversation the other day, and maybe you and I even had the same conversation. You told me 3 or 4 coolers now you have with selling water. And just who would have thought, years ago that you would have to have 3 or 4 different coolers to sell water?
True. It's crazy how the industry has changed. I mean, the tobacco industry, what we call the carbonated soft drink / cold vault portion of the business. It's when we were growing up, you drank a RC Cola, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Sprite. Those were your choices. And today, it's just all over the map, and you have to monitor that space. Because you can't obviously expand your cold vault space every 3 or 4 months, but it has changed quite a bit.
So let me ask you this, and you and I have had this conversation. I believe we talked about it over lunch one day just a little bit. How do you today go about determining what product is going to be in your store, and whether you're going to carry this many Coke products or Pepsi products or whatever else? Tell me, and I know that's been a learning experience for you as well. And maybe you know who takes care of that, but tell me what you know about that.
Well, I mean, it's I could give you some real scientific, some real deep analysis that we do to determine this and that and the other. And frankly, just to be brutally honest, the manufacturers like Coke and Pepsi put a lot of pressure on you to, quote, give them full distribution of their products. So you go through a negotiation. We do it every year or two, and of course during that year or two there's always new product introductions, but it's crazy. I mean, the supermarkets and the Walmarts of the world are you know, they will, you know, they'll say, you want that space? Show me the money.
Right.
And it's kind of we don't have that leverage obviously in the convenience store industry, but still we do have, you know, that discussion about,
sure.
Okay, you want to put this in, what's coming out, blah, blah, blah. I like, when I can, to let something get into the market and get established, and I like for them to show me the Nielsen data, which is, you know, the folks that aren't familiar with Nielsen, they're the marketing rating company that tells you top selling brands,
right.
the fastest growing brands. So we always want to make sure we have those represented. Right. And sometimes that's a challenge in rural Georgia, believe it or not. You know, we had time getting Lance crackers at one point because they had changed their distribution routes,
really?
And we had to really struggle to get that product in our stores. And that still happens from time to time. But the biggest, it's just crazy to me. The energy drinks, the hydration drinks, body armor. I mean, things that if you'd have told me folks would be buying, I'd have said, you know, it's just crazy. Of course, I've learned over the last decade or so not to be surprised at what people will buy.
Right, that's true. I mean, very true. So the new location, anything special about the new location? Any special technology or different food offerings, or can we kind of expect to see what we've come to know and trust with most of the other locations, just a brand new store? Or?
Yeah, it's obviously we're felt like we have 3 or 4 properties that we feel like are pretty much ready to develop, and we when evaluating which one we needed to do first, we said, well, we're going to obviously cannibalize our existing site, but when we looked at the growth potential. 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. If you believe all the projections, you look at, we're blessed in this community to have Jimmy Allgood and Ben Hall sitting on our Port Authority. You look at that growth and what that's doing for our state.
Right.
It's incredible. And as we know, if you travel up and down I-16, you dodge trucks all day. And of course, they're working on transferring a lot of that to rail, but still, that growth is going to continue. And those, so. We love truck drivers. They have big appetites and they make good money, and they spend it. They really do. They're very loyal. We have a hard time sometimes getting their fuel business because they have national accounts that are negotiated, but they like our food. Right. So the new store is going to have a lot of what we always have done, but we are going to add a cold deli. We're going to have a elliptical, case in the middle of the store that'll have fresh fruit, yogurts, sandwiches. Okay. And probably going to throw a little cold chicken in there,
Absolutely, you got to have
chicken salad and stuff.
That's right.
But so it will be a little different from that standpoint.
Okay.
But Heath, the main thing is it's going to be modern, new. The bathrooms will be the nicest bathrooms for a minute. There's a couple of stores being built, but when we open it, there will be the nicest bathrooms on I-16. That's important to the ladies in our life. Sure. And the other things are pretty much the same thing that we do. Just expanded expansion of some of the products that we currently carry. You always second guess yourself. I was down there yesterday and did we make it wide enough? Did we? So, but it's and all this is you got the cost of construction now is expensive. These dispensers, these gasoline dispensers that people typically refer to as pumps. Right. We bought them. It seems like yesterday for $4,500. They're now $15,000.
Right. And that's technology driven.
The EMV, compliance piece that
Right.
that
Keep
the
you
little
safe.
chip on
Yeah.
your credit card. You know they're going to by December of next year. You have to have that EMV piece in your card reader on your gas pump. Right now, we just have it inside the store.
Okay.
But most everybody's heard of or have experienced themselves getting skimmed.
Right.
And there's a lot of technological advancement that we didn't have years ago. The business has changed tremendously. The mix of merchandise that we
Right,
sell.
right.
You know, we're
Certainly.
heavy in the food service, and that's where we want to be.
Right.
But the tobacco categories, you know, beer and tobacco are shrinking in both margin and sales, and that's okay with
Energy
me.
drinks are growing.
Energy drinks,
So-
things like that are growing like crazy. Water,
Yeah, water. So
crazy.
it is. Hey, guy, let's take one more quick break,
Okay.
and then we'll come right back and wrap
Okay.
things up.
It's a public auto auction this Saturday, August 10th at 10 a.m. Oconee Auto Auction, 702 East Jackson Street in Dublin, is having a public car auction. No dealers are allowed. This auction will be open to the public for buying as well as selling. So if you have a boat, vehicle, tractor, ATV, then bring it on out to Oconee Auto Auction. For more details, call 697-6455 or 595-9511. It's Oconee Auto Auction's public car auction this Saturday, August 10th, 10 a.m. Be there.
I thought I'd lost my business in that fire, but my agent was there before the flames were out. He said, together, we're gonna rebuild. Our employees depended on it. My independent agent and auto owners made sure we didn't skip a beat. I mean, we didn't miss a single payroll.
For whatever lies ahead, we're always there.
Curry Maffitt Insurance, now at 115 West Jackson Street in downtown Dublin.
Welcome back, Guy. Again, thank you so much. Excited. I can tell you're excited. I'm excited for you guys. Anytime we have growth in retail or food or anything, you mentioned that corridor, the I-16 corridor. Yeah, it's just going to get more and more and more traffic and become more and more important in our state. So great move on your part for you guys
We'll see.
to be out there. We hope. Right
Yeah,
now it
that's
looks
right.
really good.
That's right.
But we talked a little bit about history and some other things. I think you guys have something else important that's coming up you wanted to mention.
Yeah, we're going to have a 40th year anniversary next month for Friendly Gus. You know, we started in September of 1979.
Okay.
So we're going to have a lot of 40-year special promotions. So stay tuned on that. My son-in-law, Matt Jones, is one of the hats. You wear multiple hats in a small business, but marketing is one of the main things we got him doing, and he's working right now on putting all that together. So
Can I put in a plea for my wife? Anything to do with a free order of the tater logs?
tater logs, we're gonna have a sweet tater log deal. Sweet tater log deal, and others.
That's her favorite.
We're gonna try to just really get you focused on making sure you go to Friendly Gus at least once or twice a week during the
There you
month of
go.
September.
I don't think you have a problem with her. Guy, give us the good news as close as possible. What kind of date are we looking at for a grand opening maybe?
I've had all of my major contractors, the site guy, the gas and diesel guy, and the building guy tell me they're going to hand it to me before 1 November, and they have been incredible. So that's the target. You know,
Okay.
there's always a glitch or two. We want to make sure we get open this year. And let me just say, I gotta, you know, this risk we're taking. You and I had this conversation at one of the when you interviewed my dad died on the 100th year anniversary. There's incentive to risk today, and that's in large part due to the passage the Trump tax cut.
Sure.
And so it gives people like us, small businesses, an incentive, just like a lot of things you see downtown.
Right.
I mean,
right.
there's a combination of the historic tax credits and the tax incentives in the Trump tax plan. So, but 1 November's the date that we're shooting for, and hopefully we'll get it opened up by then, and everything will be clicking. So
Maybe a little soft opening and then a grand opening a few days
that's
later.
that's what we would like to do.
Well, I look forward to hearing from you guys so we can partner with you on a great big ribbon cutting.
Okay.
And hey, congratulations, man.
Thank you,
We
Heath.
appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us and helping us make today and every day a great day for business in Dublin and Lawrence County.